Hi, I'm Shamika, and today I'm going to show you how to embroider a unicorn shirt with applique. Stay tuned. In today's video, we're going to be using the following supplies. The thread colors that we'll be using for our unicorn, basting adhesive spray, our hoop grid and hoop, our t-shirt for embroidery, HTV, glitter transfer sheets, and our stabilizer. And in today's video, we're going to be using poly mesh stabilizer. So what we want to go ahead and do first is go ahead and hoop our stabilizer on the hoop. And I'm just going to tilt my camera down a little bit so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I will be doing this embroidery on my PE 800. And I will link below where I got all my materials for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and hoop my stabilizer. I believe this sheet is 10 by 12. And we are using a 5 by 7 hoop. I will be embroidering on a 2T shirt. So I have my stabilizer now in the hoop. I'm going to go ahead and tighten the screw to make it tight. Normally I use or have eraser caps on my screws, but I lost my cap and I need to check my supply bag to see if there's any more in there. Now, of course, when you're hooping your stabilizer, you want to make sure that you pull it as tight as you can to prevent puckering on your shirts. Now, when you're hooping your stabilizer, you want to make sure that you get a drum sound, just like that. So my stabilizer is tight in my hoop, and now what we're going to do is go ahead and use our grid to mark the center of the hoop. There we go. If you're having issues getting your grid in your hoop, make sure you have it facing the right direction, because I didn't. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my fine point disappearing pen, and I'm going to mark all the circles and the hoop grid. This will help us line the center of the hoop. Some people use a pencil or a pen or whatever that it is that they have near them. I like to use this disappearing ink pen. I believe I got that from Walmart. Now, as you see, we have marked the center of our hoop, and I will be embroidering this shirt this way versus right side up, because I want the design to be wide as I can get it, since I'm working with a limited hoop space. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my hoop with the basting adhesive because we're going to use the floating method to float our shirt. And a little goes a long way, so you don't have to spray a lot, but you want to make sure that you have your whole hoop covered so you don't have to worry about pinning your shirt or your shirt moving during the process. So I always make sure that I look at the size of my hoop because I have a bad habit of hooping my items the wrong direction. So I always look to see where the little hooks are on the hoop to make sure that I'm hooping my shirt the right way. Now I'll be having my design facing the right on my hoop, so I want the top of my shirt to be that way. Now here's my shirt. I've already folded it in half and pressed it on my heat press to get the center. We have it folded inside out with the back folded in because since we're doing this on our PE 800, we're going to have to hold this shirt and embroider inside out. So now I'm just going to lay my shirt on the hoop. We're going to take, this part is the top collar of the shirt. I'm going to put this right above the first notch on my hoop. And we're going to line everything else on that center line of the hoop, because that's the center. We're going to press that, get it nice and smooth. And then we're going to open our shirt and press the other side down nice and smooth. We want to make sure our shirt is nice and flat with no wrinkles. So you want to pull that shirt and stretch it if you feel any lumps or bumps. You want it nice and smooth. So this is how the shirt should look on the hoop. As you see, my collar, you can kind of see it a little bit, is right here, right above the hoop. And this is the back of the shirt. Now, we're ready to put our shirt on the hoop. So I'm just going to fold the bottom of my shirt on top so I can slide it on. Now, for this design, I already have my hoop, not my hoop, but my bobbin already in place on the hoop. And a lot of people say they struggle with putting their hoops on for their PE 800. I just like to make sure I hear that snap. There it is. And now that that is done, I'm going to have the excess just folded over on the arm of the shirt. See if I can zoom you guys in. Nope, won't let me zoom in. So now what we're going to do is, I have my presser foot up. I'm going to open up my shirt so that way we can embroider on the front side of the shirt. Because remember, these shirts are folded inside out. And we always want the back facing us. Now, my design is a design that I purchased off Etsy. I've already put this design together in my software, which I use in Brilliance Enthusiast. And I'm going to go ahead and put my flash drive in because I've already saved it to my USB. So hopefully you can see my screen. In order to pull up my design, I'm just going to click the USB button and find my design, which is the unicorn. Click set. And on the screen, what we want to do is we want to move our design up as move our design up as much as we can. So we're going to click the move button, and for me to move my design, because as you see I'm embroidering my design sideways, I'm going to hit the arrow to move it up as much as I can so that it embroiders as close to the top of the shirt as we can go. And we're going to go ahead and click OK, and then edit in, because we don't need to do anything else as far as the shirt goes. Now, to get started, I've already have my machine threaded, and we're going to be doing an applique for the number 4. So I don't really need to change this color, but we're going to go ahead and click, let our cursor foot down, and click embroidery, and that will give us the option to go ahead and start. So when we're ready to start, we're just going to go ahead and click the green button for go to start the number 4. And what it's going to do is it's going to do a placement stitch. That will be the first stitch that I will get. Now this design that I purchased off Etsy does not include the stop, so I will have to stop my machine once the placement stitch has stitched out. So I'm gonna go ahead and click go, and then we can go ahead and get started. I'm probably gonna have to do this video in parts. So part 1 is, this is concluding part 1, which is the supplies that we're gonna need for this project and hooping our shirt to get it on the machine. And I'll go ahead and come back with part 2, which will be actually embroidering the design.